On my way here this afternoon, I was talking to the GCO of NNPC, and he was discussing with me the resuscitation of the OKLNG project. So again, not only do you have a coastal road that has opened the entire Ogun Waterside to economic development, because of that, NNPC now has started drilling oil. Beyond the oil, they now want to reactivate the OKLNG project.
Nature has slowly reclaimed this place. The buildings are empty, the windows are broken, the roofs are falling apart. Grass has taken over what was once supposed to become one of Africa's biggest industrial developments. For years, this abandoned facility has been a symbol of one of Nigeria's biggest unrealized ambitions. This was once the operational office of the Olokola LNG Project, better known as OKLNG. A project valued at almost $10 billion. A project expected to transform this entire coastline. Instead, it was abandoned. Today, I'm standing at what remains of that dream. But after almost 2 decades, there are strong signs that this project may finally be returning. And what's even more interesting is that the reason may not simply be about gas anymore. It may be because the entire region around it has completely changed.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Belao. As at then, in 2005, when the project kicked off. But unfortunately, a lot of things happened along the line and the whole project collapsed. And as you can see, the site office as well, everything inside there also collapsed. All the investors who are interested in the project pull out eventually. But what we are hearing now is the project is now back. And hopefully, the project will be done to completion this time around.
Back in the mid-2020s, Nigeria wanted to build another world-class LNG export terminal. The chosen location was Olokola, along Nigeria's Atlantic coastline. At the time, this was a bold decision because apart from its natural coastline, very little supporting infrastructure existed here. No major expressway, no nearby refinery, no deep sea ports, no industrial ecosystem. The LNG project itself was expected to become the catalyst that would attract all of those developments. In many ways, OKLNG wasn't following developments. It was expected to create it. Unfortunately, that never happened. Major international partners eventually pulled out. Investment slowed. Global market conditions changed. Regulatory uncertainty created further delays. Without enough confidence from investors, construction never progressed beyond preliminary works. Today, one of the few visible reminders of that ambition is this abandoned operational office. Looking around, it's difficult to imagine that this place was once expected to coordinate one of Africa's largest LNG projects. The offices are empty, the buildings are deteriorated, equipment is gone, and nature has taken over. For years, this became a monument to a dream that never materialized. This is where the story becomes fascinating. Because while the project stood still, everything around it kept changing. And that's what makes today's revival announcement so significant. When OKLNG was first proposed, there was very little infrastructure supporting this area. Fast forward to today, and the picture is completely different.
So guys, one of the reasons why the OKLNG project failed was because of lack of access road. And as you can see right here, I am on the road alignment of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, which is going to be getting here. Just right behind me, just some few meters just, I don't know if you can see that mast, that is exactly where the OKLNG office was as at that time, but now there is nothing happening around there.
One of the biggest changes is the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. This highway is expected to become Nigeria's longest coastal transport corridor. More importantly, it will serve as one of the primary road connections into the Olokola axis. From my aerial survey of this area, something immediately caught my attention. The alignment of the coastal highway passes directly through the vicinity of the old OKLNG operational office. Now, there has been no official statement saying the highway is the reason for the project's revival, but it's difficult to ignore the strategic importance of this connection. Major industrial projects depend on transportation, and today, that transportation infrastructure is finally taking shape. Another major development is the renewed interest by the Dangote Group in the Olokola axis. Plans for a new deep sea port have gathered momentum in recent months. If eventually delivered, it will completely transform logistics in this region. Even more interesting, the Dangote Refinery is now only about 40 kilometers from these abandoned OKLNG sites. Think about that for a moment. When this project was conceived nearly 20 years ago, the refinery didn't exist. Today, Africa's largest refinery is operating just a short distance away. That changes everything. Sometimes projects fail not because they are bad ideas, but because they arrive too early. Looking around today, it almost feels as though the infrastructure that OKLNG needed 20 years ago is only now beginning to come together. You now have the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the Dangote Refinery, the Lekki Deep Sea Port further west, proposed Olokola Deep Sea Port, expanding industrial zones, improved road connectivity, renewed government interest. Suddenly, this location doesn't feel isolated anymore. It feels connected. Instead of a standalone LNG project, OKLNG could become part of a much larger industrial corridor stretching across Nigeria's coastline.
Covered oil in Ogun Waterside about a year and a half ago. Like Kabiyesi Ojutomoro said, iṣẹ́ tí ń lọ takuntakun lórí that oil discovery. NNPC is funding that project. They have started to drill to establish the commercial quantities of that oil. They have established that that oil is one of the best quality oil in Nigeria. Ekilapu. This is in Eba, Ogun Waterside, Eba, Ogun Waterside, for the avoidance of doubt. Again, on my way here this afternoon, I was talking to the GCO of NNPC, and he was discussing with me the resuscitation of the OKLNG project. So again, not only do you have a coastal road that has opened the entire Ogun Waterside to economic development, because of that, NNPC now has started drilling oil. Beyond the oil, they now want to reactivate the OKLNG project.
Recently, the Ogun State government confirmed that discussions have resumed over reviving the long-abandoned OKLNG project. That announcement comes at a time when Nigeria is placing much greater emphasis on natural gas development and industrialization. Gas is increasingly being positioned as a key driver of economic growth. If Nigeria wants to expand LNG exports, then projects like OKLNG become strategically important once again. But unlike 20 years ago, the surrounding infrastructure is no longer just a promise. Much of it is already being built or is operational. Standing here today, it's hard not to think about what this place represents. For years, This abandoned office symbolized a failed dream, but perhaps it was never the wrong project. Perhaps it simply arrived before the region was ready. Today, the roads are coming. Industry is moving closer. Ports are being proposed. The refinery is already operating nearby. And suddenly, the same project that once looked impossible now appears to have a much stronger foundation. The question is no longer whether this was a good idea. The real question is, has Olokola finally caught up with the vision that was imagined almost 20 years ago? Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because I'll be bringing you exclusive updates from the Olokola axis, the proposed deep sea ports, the coastal highway, and other major infrastructure projects shaping Nigeria. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.